If your AI character looks different every time you generate the same image with the exact same prompt, there's a very good chance it's not because the AI is broken. It's because you're prompting from memory. And that one mistake can completely throw you off from having a consistent character. And it's not something a lot of creators do without even realizing it. You create one image that looks great. I mean, the face is right, the hair is right, the vibe feels right, and you think, yeah, okay, I've got my character. But then the next time you go to create another image, you try to describe that exact same character again from memory. And you remember a few details, maybe. Maybe the hairstyle, maybe the skin tone, and maybe the outfit, but you probably don't remember every single identity detail the exact same way. So in your prompt, the word changes, the emphasis changes, and the details begin to shift, and little by little, your character starts to drift. One prompt, it might say curly hair. Another might say wavy hair. One prompt might even say medium skin. Another might say warm golden skin. One prompt may focus on the face while another prompt focuses more on the outfit. And before you know it, the AI is not recreating the same exact person anymore. It's creating a version of that person. Maybe whatever information you give it, it might be something similar. And that's the problem with memory-based prompting. Yeah, it feels convenient, but it's actually unstable and unpredictable. Every time you rebuild the character from memory, you're now asking the AI to make new decisions. And when the AI has to make new decisions, what's going to happen is that it's going to fill in the blanks and it's going to be a totally different person. That's how the face changes. That's how the eyes shift, and that's how the hair changes, and that's how the skin tone begins to change, and that's how your character, it slowly turns into 3, 4, 5 different people who only kind of look alike, or maybe even they're related to each other. And this connects directly into what I teach in the consistent character blueprint. Consistency, it doesn't start with the final image. Consistency starts with the identity foundation. Before you even ever change the outfit, before you change the background, the scene, or even the environment. So before you move the character into a new environment, you need to know who this character is visually. You need a saved identity file, or what I like to call it, a character identity reference sheet. Think of the character identity reference sheet like the character's visual ID card. It tells you who this person is before the scene or the environment changes. It gives you the fixed details that stay consistent across every image. So instead of saying, let me try to remember what I just created or just wrote last time, you already have a clean base that you can reuse again and again. You create the identity first. Create your character first before you even start prompting. Your base should include the details that actually define the character. Things like the overall identity, the face structure, the skin tone, the undertone, the hair texture, the hair length, the hair color, the shape of the eyes, and the eye color, even what type of shape the eyebrows and the nose and the lips are, and also the body proportions if you need full body shots, and just the overall presence and vibe of your character. Those details are the ones that protect the character from drifting. Those are your non-negotiables. Now, you don't want to start with random and just cool backgrounds, outfits, or scenes. You start with your identity first. Then you define the face. Then you define the skin, the hair, and all of those features, and even the body. And then you begin to start with the scene, the lighting, and the camera. That sequence matters because it helps build the character from ground up instead of just decorating a random image. And once you have that foundation, the workflow becomes that much more easier. You create one saved base character, you create a block, and that block is the part that you don't have to keep rewriting over and over again. Now, I suggest that you create the character reference sheet, save it in something like Notion or Google Docs, and then underneath all that, you add what I call the variation layer. That is where you change the outfit, the location, and the vibe, the lighting, the poses, and the camera angle, the mood, and add your accessories. So the base protects the identity, and the variation creates the new image. Now, this is the difference between character variation and character drift. Variation just simply means the same character can appear in a new environment, new lighting, or even a new scene and still feel like the exact same person. Drift means the actual identity starts to change. That's where the face changes, the skin tone shifts, the hair changes, the body proportions shift, and now the character no longer feels like a stable character. So here's a simple way to remember it. Identity should be protected, but presentation can change. Your character's facial structure should stay consistent, but the camera angle can change. The skin tone, the undertones should stay grounded, but your lighting can change. The hair should stay stable and believable, but the styling of the hair can change. The body proportions should stay stable, and that overall presence should feel connected even when those scenes or environments change. So this is how you keep from having to start from ground zero. You're no longer rewriting the character every time. You are no longer rewriting these prompts over and over again. Use the character reference sheet. And that one shift is a game changer because now instead of guessing, you are directing. Instead of hoping the AI remembers, you are giving it a clear foundation. Instead of rebuilding the character over and over again, you're placing the same person into creative situations. So if your character keeps drifting, don't just keep tweaking the prompt with random words. Go back and ask yourself, do I have a saved identity file? Do I know what my non-negotiables are? Do I have a base character block? Do I know what can change and what needs to stay locked? Because once you establish that, your prompts become cleaner and your results become more consistent and your creative process becomes a lot less frustrating. So stop prompting from memory. Save the identity, create an identity reference sheet, build the base, add your variation layers, create it from structure and not from guesswork, so you can start building your character the right way from the ground up.